Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today was the set out. It is time to look at the top 10 most valuable, most expensive, phrase it how you will, cards that are coming around in surging sparks. Pre-releases are over. The set is out, but please remember, the set has not been out for very long. The prices are way higher than they should be, and this will all calm down in time, but just please bear in mind we are still in that stage where it's going to take a little while for everything to settle out quite nicely. I do just want to mention before we get rolling here that there is a full art Pikachu, and the full art Pikachu is actually right now outside the top 10, sitting at like $19, which is interesting to me because, well, the Pikachu cards are being inflated quite nicely, and, yeah, it's a bit weird. Also worth noting, also at about $19, but just a tiny bit lower, we do have the Special Illustration Rare Durant. It is the lowest of the Special Illustration Rares, and I believe the only one that, no, that's a lie, but one of the only ones that doesn't make it onto the top 10 list. The others are Archaladon and Drayton, if anyone's wondering. But I do find it interesting that this one is so low, given how beautiful it is, and the fact that you can line it up to make Infinite Durant. Just putting that out there. So with all of that borne in mind then, in at number 10, we've got the Special Illustration Rare of Clement's Wit, coming in currently at about $28. This is number 10 on the list, but it is a clear number 10. The others are significantly higher. There is a bit of a gap between Clement and all of the other cards. And here, it's a Special Illustration Rare. The artwork's quite nice. The card heals 60 from all your lightning Pokemon. It's not that great, if I'm honest with you. It's a decent Special Illustration Rare, but it's far closer to things like Drayton, for instance, or Archaladon than it is to the other cards on this list. And Archaladon is only a tiny bit behind. Just, worth pointing that out for a moment. Coming in at number 9, we've got the Latios, the Illustration Rare. Currently coming in at $43. And look, we do this every set where we take a random Illustration Rare and we push it up way higher than it has any right to be in terms of value. The one saving grace here is that this one might actually deserve it. Because if you look at Paradise Dragona, it wasn't this high, but it was the highest Illustration Rare by a little bit of a margin. And obviously it makes a pair with the Latias, which, yes, obviously you will see higher up on this list. And you know what? Of any of the ones that we've pushed up, the Illustration Rares from the last few sets, this at least does make a lot more sense than most, so I'm willing to accept this one. Like, the fact that it's above some of the cards that it's above is a bit silly, but it should be the most expensive, so, there is at least that. Coming in at number 8, we've got the Special Illustration Rare of Jasmine's Gaze, which is a card that I expected to be a real powerhouse over in Japan, and frankly, that has not happened. This one is coming in at about $46 right now, and as I've told you the other day, this is way too high. All of these are way too high right now, but this coming in at number 8, given what we saw in Japan, does actually make quite a lot of sense. I am surprised this card is as low as it is, both there and here. Because Jasmine's quite popular. I mean, the card says you take 30 less damage from all of your opponent's attacks during your opponent's next turn. It's fine, but it's kind of a one-off at best. But I just think the artwork here, sitting, having some snacks in a cafe, is beautiful. But then again, maybe it'll keep crashing and I'll pick one of these up and I'll be delighted. Coming in at number 7, we've got the Special Illustration Rare of Alolan Executor, which is coming in at around about $64. Yes, you will notice there has been another fairly sizable jump here. This is $18 higher than Jasmine's Gaze. And playability-wise, I mean, look, it's fine, it's not stunning. I do love the attack. That flip a coin if heads knock out your opponent's active basic, if tails knock out a bench basic. But it's not proven to be particularly good over in Japan right now. It's been legal there for a while, and it's just not seeing any real success, which is a bit sad. But then again, it's still a cool card, and remember, it does make a nice pair with the Execute, so we've always got that. In at number 6, we've got the Gold Pikachu coming in at about $68. And it's Pikachu. Now, like I said, the full art is a bit cheaper than I was expecting. The gold is up here quite nicely. The pull rates on the gold cards are quite low, and it's Pikachu EX. Everyone loves Pikachu. The card is being hyped, and it is a very nice card because it's got the ability that says if it would be knocked out by damage from an attack, it goes down to 10 HP instead, and it can swing for decent damage. It's seen a bit of play and success over in Japan, but nothing major. But honestly, it's Pikachu and it's gold, and that's all you need to know, really. Coming in at number 5, we've got the special illustration rare of Lizzie's Appeal, which is coming in at around about $77. And you know what? Yeah, this kind of makes sense. This was the big card in Paradise Dragona, and if anybody's wondering, the top 4 are all from Super Electric Breaker in Japan, not from Paradise Dragona. And again, 77's too high. This is going to come down over the next few days and weeks. But Lizia is super popular, and you've got Altaria on here, and that's kind of your answer. It does have a nice effect whereby you get to gust one of your opponent's bench basic Pokemon, and then they're confused. But the reality here is, this isn't a playability thing. People just like Lizia, and they like Altaria, and there we go. In at number 4, we've got ourselves Milotic, which is coming in at about $85. There's going to be a little bit of a jump after this one as well. And the Milotic is cool, but the Milotic isn't special. And I say that because the top 3 very much are special, and I do think we are going to see the top 3 really separating out the top 3 for a while at this stage. But the Milotic here, in terms of playability, is seeing some play in Japan. It prevents all damage from and effects of attacks from your opponent's Terra Pokemon, done to this Pokemon. And there are some blocking decks which are playing this and basically anything else that can block anything. And just playing a deck that's trying to be invincible and frustrate your opponent. Artwork-wise, this is stunning, and it does make a nice little pair with the Feebas. Although, interestingly enough, the Feebas hasn't been pushed up to much higher numbers. Like the Latios, because it makes a pair with a Latias, has really been pushed up in terms of value. We're not seeing that from the Feebas here. The Feebas is already like an $8 card, which is interesting to me. Oftentimes when there's pairs, they get pushed up. Coming in at number 3, probably my most wanted card. No, that's a lie. My second most wanted card from the set. We have got the special illustration rare of Hydreigon EX, which is trending at the moment at around about $100. It's about a $100 card right now. And firstly, we've got the redonkulous Akira Igawa artwork, which is phenomenal. And secondly, it's actually a legit card. Yes, it's a stage 2, and that's a pain. But 2 energy, 200, and you mill 3 cards on the top of your opponent's deck. 4 energy, 130 to your opponent's active and 2 of their bench. I'm not saying this is a powerhouse deck that is wrecking in Japan, because it's not. But I am saying it's a legit deck which is seeing play and success in Japan, because it totally is. Keep an eye on this one. In at number 2, my actual most wanted card from the set, it is the special illustration rare of Latias EX, and this is coming in at about 190, which is way too high, as I told you the other day, way too high. But we'll get to that one later. The thing about this is, firstly, you've got the phenomenal Okacheke artwork, which is obviously why I want it. Secondly, you've got the fact that it makes a pair with a Latios, and like I've said, these pairs cards do tend to drag each other up. But thirdly, we've got a ridiculous ability that gives all your basic Pokemon free retreat. So this is actually like legit playable. Playability-wise, this is the best EX in the set, by a bit of a margin. And it's got the ridiculous artwork as well. I really hope this comes down to a more sensible price, because I need to have this card. I must have this card. But to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure I can afford it. Not $190. So we could all bring the price down. That would be lovely. And obviously at number 1, it's a special illustration rare Pikachu. Like, we all came into this video knowing that this was going to be the number 1 card in the set. Currently trending at about a $400 card, which, as I explained in my video the other day, is absurd and way too high. But here's the thing. If enough people just go, oh, it's a $400 card, and buy and sell at $400, it will be a $400 card. It shouldn't be a $400 card. It very much does not deserve to be a $400 card, not when you compare it to all the other cards around right now. But that doesn't really matter now, does it? Because it probably is going to end up being a $400 card. That's a little bit of a problem, but this one, whereas all the others are just going to go down. But this one, honestly, there is a chance that the community as a whole keep pushing it up, and they shouldn't. And it makes no sense when you compare it to the other special illustration rare Pokemon that are around right now. But it genuinely could end up being this much or higher. Keep an eye on this one is what I'm saying. For now, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know all of your opinions. What have you pulled in your pre-releases? What do you want to pull from your boxes? What have you already pulled from your boxes? Let me know in the comment section, would you? Get us! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.